Hello everyone, and welcome to another bass singer reaction and analysis video. Today we're going to be checking out one I have gotten from the beginning, and I know that Dimash people have been waiting for this one. This will be my third Dimash video I've made, and they are certainly crowd favorites, both of them so far. So this is Dimash S.O.S. from the Slavic Bazaar. Now, from the look of it, I think this is some kind of talent show, kind of like America's Got Talent or something like that. I'm not sure, but that's just what it looks like. I just watched the first 13 seconds to get to the point where he's about to start singing. So we're about to do that. Guys, please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. It's totally free, takes no time, and it really helps the channel grow, to see those numbers go up, and especially commenting, interacting with the video. Very, very good. Good for business. And if you are gaining a lot of enjoyment from my analysis and my commentary, please consider donating to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month, and I'll leave a link below where you can follow that to my Patreon. And one last little plug, although the fundraiser might be done, amazingly, by the time this comes out, I am raising $12,000 to shoot my first ever full-scale professional music video for my cover of Enemy by Imagine Dragons. And it has some of my operatic vocals, it has some of my background in dubstep production, it has a lot of my bass vocal stuff, of course. It's a really crazy cool project. I'm super passionate about it, and I cannot believe the support I've gotten. I think I've raised $11,500 out of the $12,000, so we're almost there. Super, super exciting. So that's my last plug. And without further ado, let's break down what's happening with Dimash in this S.O.S. performance. A lot of people are amazed by his voice, as I am, but I can shed a lot of light on how he's doing it, and what really makes him so special as a singer. So I'm very excited to see this. Let's go ahead and break it down, and yeah, let's do it.
Je vis, pourquoi je meurs, pourquoi je ris, pourquoi je pleure.
You want to talk about intimate singing? So this is like pianissimo singing, and we know Dimash has a lot of power in his voice. So this is very breathy, and it's so quiet and soft, it's hard to tell if he's using head voice or if he's in a higher part of his chest range, or it's a mix of some kind. Let me get a few of these pitches and see if I can better predict what tell what he's doing here. Also a C sharp 4. Totally doable within his chest range, but like I just did, you can also totally sing that in head voice and in falsetto. I just love that he's starting this out so intimately, though. It's like right in your ear. It's like he's whispering to you, and there's just piano, so it's just voice and piano, and you don't have to worry about volume in a setting like this because the microphone, via the electronic output, you can make a quiet sound like this fill a stadium. So it's never a worry, so you can get as intimate and small singing as you want, and the whole audience will hear it no problem. Something that's very advantageous about performing with amplification. So he's starting very intimately, which means he's setting up contrast to where he can go vocally later. We're starting middle range, super quiet, which is going to present a huge contrast to, he always goes crazy with the belting and the operatic singing technique, and especially his crazy high notes. So this is what I can imagine is going to be an absolutely enormous contrast from the start of this song to whenever the song climaxes. Let's go back and start this over because it's just right at the beginning. This does sound to me like head voice. Just a very light head voice that would be really, really soft and high to do in a full chest voice, to take it up that high. So I'm going to put my money on the line, say he is singing in a very intimate head voice right now.
Voici le S.O.S. Tant de rien en détresse. J'ai mûri hier sur toi.
Oh, wow. Amazing. So he starts down in a B2. Clearly now you can hear the difference in kind of timbrely between that really soft head voice. Clearly now he's dipped down into his baritone range, which is what I hear him as naturally. To me, he's always sounded like he is a natural baritone that has an absolutely absurd upper extension. So listen to this. He starts, then he goes up to what? So he goes so he jumps an easy 2 octaves right now, and he goes up into some kind of mixed voice there, but a mixed voice or a falsetto with really good vocal fold closure, meaning the sound is pure, the sound is bright, the sound has cut. It means the vocal folds are coming together really nicely. But this is just a really cool demonstration of how easily he can flow from his low middle range, clearly chest voice, up into some kind of mix and maintain quality throughout. I think he switches the head voice on the D4. It's so smooth that it's hard to perceive, and we know he could sing a lot. He could sing these pitches either way. I think he switches from chest voice into a kind of a voix mix on the D4 and then up into this high B. Can you hear? It's subtle, but can you hear how the mechanism is a bit lighter? There's just a little bit more breath coming through as well. And low in your falsetto, it is way more likely to be breathy. When you get up higher like he just did, it's easier for the vocal folds to come together. But right there kind of in the middle is kind of a very awkward range for your falsetto or head voice. And so you can hear that it's just a slightly lighter mechanism just on that D4 before it kind of reconnects. It's very subtle. Octave higher though. He's already up to an F sharp 5 with complete ease, which is really, even that is amazing, and he goes way higher. It's just a remarkable amount of control. Now, what amazes a lot of people about Dimash, and something I've pointed out, is his ability to sing with operatic technique and then sing with more like jazz-like and then sing with musical theater or pop. Now, as someone who sings opera professionally, his operatic technique is very good for someone who never completely pursued that as a career. Now, I know he was offered a position as a younger singer with an opera house. I believe it. I believe he has the talent to be a full-on opera singer if he chose that career. But the thing about opera is that to fully develop technique, operatic technique, it takes a kind of a one-track mind for years upon even decades to fully master it. So what impresses me more than his operatic technique specifically is his ability to bounce from that to another genre seamlessly. He has so much control over his voice throughout his entire enormous range, and that to me is what is so shocking, especially of course when he gets up into his really high head voice. But I just wanted to drop that note a little bit because I mean usually in his songs he gets into some operatic singing, big time operatic style singing, but as you can see here, He's singing in this very intimate way. He's letting a lot of breath come through while still maintaining vibrato throughout. So it's like the training and the technique is always there, but he's just shifting the way in which he uses his voice in a way that really not many other singers do. And not many other singers do as well as him. It's a very impressive thing. Just his versatility is probably the best. Range and versatility. That's what I would say are the two most impressive things about Dimash. Like you just heard here, has a nice resonant low B in chest voice, and then goes up into like these super soft but very pure up to F sharp 5, which it's really remarkable. But I've got a timer on me. I'm trying to keep my videos at 30 minutes or less because my camera runs out, and we've got about 18 or 19 minutes to go. So I'm going to keep going through. I don't know how long this song goes. Hopefully not the full 6 minutes because then I'm going to have to rush at the end. But I want to take my time because I think it's fascinating. And I think it's worth talking in great detail about what he's doing. Because I know it's a mystery to a lot of people and it amazes a lot of people, myself included. So clearly there's, much more operatic influence there. Let's see how high it went. So that's another F sharp 5. F sharp 5, a tritone above tenor high C, so very high, clearly using head voice. And again, he's showing this background of his operatic training, where if there's a little bit more space in the sound, making it and keeping it a little warmer, a little darker, by keeping a slightly lowered larynx, allowing for more pharyngeal space. That's how you get a nice, warm, dark sound as an opera singer. And also a very solid, clean vibrato, a very steady vibrato. That's what you want. That means the breath support's working. This is all relaxed enough so it's not clenching or anything like that. It's just a nice, sine wave, natural, easy vibrato. That's what we want, and he's just done a great job of that on this high note here. They're only just ever so slightly these like tiny little variations that take it away from being a perfect sine wave. But I mean, it's right there. It's really a solidly executed high note. So now he's back to singing like a pop singer with good technique. So he's allowing vibrato to come through occasionally. He's got nice vocal fold closure so the tones are staying bright, but he's got his larynx back up. So now he's not trying to sound dark. He's not trying to sound warm like an opera singer. He really is singing with like really good pop vocal technique. And you can tell it's the kind of technique where if he wanted to go up into belting, he could get there really easily because his voice is already placed forward. He's already got good vocal fold closure. It's just good singing, guys. It's just good singing. That's what it is. And again, he goes from singing this F sharp 5 like an operatic soprano to singing like a pop star. Like that. Like one word to the next, he switches. So, all right, so the one he did a little bit ago, where it was more operatic, was true falsetto, true head voice. Now, this was more like a mixed kind of voice. There was more chest voice pulled up into it. Not full chest, because that's probably impossible for a male to sing true chest voice that high. But you can hear it in the sound. There's more body to it. There's more body. It feels like it's more connected from bottom to top, as opposed to the previous one. It had the warmth and space of the opera style technique, but it wasn't connected to the bottom. This one, there's more meat in the sound. You can feel that connection. He's taking it up. Really, really solid. sick.
Au rôle de tout de l'univers.
So here's another thing about this. Like I said earlier, because it's amplified, you can sing as soft and intimate into the mic as you want, like he just did on that phrase there. And you've got this huge band orchestra. You can hear those strings going up and down. There's drums. It's this big, like, fantastic show that Dimash puts on. But you can still hear him singing. So what I'm so interested to hear, and you really have to hear it in person to know for sure, is the size of his voice. Because that is a huge distinguisher from a fully trained professional opera singer to not. It's really the maturity of the voice and the actual amount of sound they put out. And you just can't tell unless you're there in person, and you really can't tell unless you hear him in person next to a fully trained opera singer. And I know there's a recording of him performing with a really talented young female opera singer, and I have to watch that. I haven't watched it yet. But size of voice is such an interesting thing, and it's not something you can get from recording, believe it or not, unless you have a direct comparison. But then again, you can only compare the two to each other, or three to each other, or however many are singing. You can't compare it alone. That's a big reason, and I'll say this again in videos later. It's a big reason why opera houses never hire based on video. You can tell if a person's, singing with good technique and all these things over a video pretty well, but you just can't tell size of voice. It's a really interesting thing, and you need to hear how a voice interacts in an opera house and how it carries to the back row, where it carries to the cheap seats. So even if you're, at the back row of the Metropolitan Opera House, 4,200 people, you can still be heard. So just an interesting thing I'm interested to hear. I would love to hear from people who have heard him live, with no microphone. And I don't know if he does that kind of performance, because really these big, epic, kind of like symphonic power singing with the amplification in like arenas, that's like what his music is for. So that's just something I'm interested in. Just like sheer size of voice. God. E6. A lot of that section, again, he's going back and, a lot of that section he was keeping a pretty consistent vibrato going, but it was all very floaty head voice, or pretty much entirely. But then he just, he's hovering somewhere in the 5th octave, like mid 5th octave, then he just goes up to an E6. Like really, really high soprano range. It's amazing. And then brings it all the way back. So he goes to this huge high falsetto, high head voice belt on an E6. And the next phrase, he's back to this super intimate inner ear singing. It's just to be able to do that without thinking about it, without really preparing for it. I mean, it just takes. At this point, when you get to a performance like this, when you get to an audition in an operatic setting, I just had an audition today, you can't be in there thinking about all these mechanics. It has to just be muscle memory. So it's the kind of thing where training it is really hard, but once you can do it, it pretty much becomes automatic. So he has it to a point now where he can switch styles, switch genres, just by thinking it. Just like, okay, now I'm gonna, and it might not even be like a clear thought like that, but just like, singing this big high note, boom, now we're back to this intimate singing on a dime. So he's certainly done his preparation, no question there.
je pleure. J'y crois comme pénitence, quelle était notre romance. J'ai une ville qui est sur terre. C'est jamais ça.
Oh, God. We gotta go back. Oh my God. See, that's just absurd. That's what I'm talking about with that upper range. Like, that's the versatility in the upper range. Unparalleled. It's just bonkers. But what he's doing here, he's doing my favorite thing in pretty much all of music, which is like big, high, like chest, high mixed voice, like rock kind of belting, like Brandon Urie from Panic at the Disco. It's my favorite thing in the world. And Dimash can do it, like he just did. So let's see how high he just belted there. He did some pretty intense belting, and like probably some of it was chest voice, stretched way up to like probably like a high B or something. And then he of course went into his head voice for the really high stuff. And he just like transitioned up there like it was nothing. God, F sharp 5. Oh, I love how he ends it too. It's like he goes from this huge, super pure singing, like the vocal folds are like, that's how you do that really high rock belting. Unless you put a ton of grit into it, in which case the vocal folds take on some turbulence, means they're kind of slamming together. But he keeps a very pure tone, especially for going that hard in the paint. So he goes from this like vocal folds just like crazy tight, high harmonic, bright, cutty, bitey sound, rock on, and then he comes back to this super intimate singing here at the end. Intimate to the point where it's literally just air. His last phrase ends with like it just literally goes into nothing. Yeah, look at these rock faces. Ah! Ah! I love it. Oh, just rock on, baby. All right, let's listen to this last section into this final transition, then we'll wrap it up. Yeah, just more and more breathy until it just fades into a wisp of air.
Dimash Kudavergen, Kazakhstan.
Crazy. Just an absolutely insane voice. Wow, it's really amazing. I have so much appreciation for this talent. It's a total total mega talent. It's no wonder that he has gotten so much attention and deserves all of it. So that was really fun. And if you're still here, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sticking around with the very scrupulous analysis that I do. It's one of my favorite things to do is think about vocal technique. And watching Dimash is like a masterclass on singing in a bunch of different styles. And he always does that in all of his pieces. He goes from, you know, the intimate soft singing, super breathy, to the super high belting, to the crazy high head voice, some opera thrown in there. It's a show. It's a great show. So, all right, y'all, that was my first time reaction and analysis, vocal analysis of Dimash, S.O.S. from the Slavic Bazaar. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. Really helps everything grow. It means a lot to me. And it's great to have you guys here, especially if you're still watching now. Thank you for hanging out with me. And if you're getting a lot of value from these videos, please consider donating to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Behind-the-scenes access, early stuff, interacting with me on a daily basis. Other cool things as the tiers go higher. And final plug, check out the GoFundMe for the music video. It might be done by now, but if it's not, help me get to that $12,000 goal. And you will not be disappointed with the product, I can assure you. It's very, very, very exciting. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you in the next one.